When I was 25, I used to rent a small room by the cottage near the village of Coldingham. I lived with the owners who were in their 50s. It was this particular weekend that the couple had left for some event. I had the place to myself until Monday morning. I had been working till late that week, but it was a good day to visit Coldingham Bay. And having spent some time there while just seeing the waves come and go, I've wasted the small amount of energy I had left. Before sunset, I headed home. There wasn't any lights on the road, and I had to walk back on my own. Upon my arrival, I headed to my bedroom over the hall, but stopped still before the door, sighed, and walked the rest of the way to the kitchen. I didn't want to take some time to eat. I was knackered, but I was hungry too. The kitchen was at the back of the ground floor. A couple of windows would get light into the room, but the curtains were down. There was a glass door that led to the terrace, and you could see it from the entrance hall. I looked into the fridge for some food and found some chicken salad. Turning away, I could reach the sink for a spoon, sat at the small table and started eating. I hadn't ate much when I heard someone trying to open the glass door. Thinking that the owners were back, I stood up and went to unlock it. "Coming," I said aloud. There was a silhouette of a tall, corpulent figure on the curtains, but as soon as I talked, whoever was there ran away. Before I got the key from my pockets, I looked through the windows. There was nobody outside, so I didn't even bother locking it. I thought it was odd, but I was dying of sleep, so I convinced myself that I was imagining things. I walked down to the entrance hallway to lock the front door just in case. As I walked back, I kept my sight towards the back door, but without really looking at it. It wasn't until I was before the door of my room that I realized there was a silhouette on the same curtain again. I stood confused. What on earth is that? I startled when I saw the strange figure walking away slowly. He had elongated ears resembling that of a hare, and due to the distortion of the shadow, I couldn't make out if the person was big or just tall. I took my phone and called Beth to ask them if they've left already, so as to confirm that they weren't in the neighborhood. "Yes, we're at my mother's now. Are you home already?" she said. "Yes, but I'm really sleepy. Should I lock the doors before going to sleep, or will somebody come by?" I replied, glancing at the door. "No, we aren't expecting anybody. You can lock up now. Have a good night." So it wasn't them or anybody we knew. The cottage was on the way to a reservoir near the cliff tops. There wasn't many reasons why somebody would come by at any chance. I was about to call 999 when I heard the windows breaking in my room. My breath drew cold as the shattered glass muffled in the closed bedroom. I stuck my ear over the door carefully without making any sound and listened steady for a few seconds, but couldn't hear anything. Then all of a sudden I realized there was indeed a noise, but I couldn't hear it because of my own breath. Someone was right on the other side of the door, trying to hear out too. It was a strong panting. At that moment my heart paralyzed. I wasn't even feeling sleepy anymore. I tiptoed to the back door knowing the front one was hard to unlock. As I was walking, I thought of the places I could hide. I didn't know how many rooms were there in the first floor, and I didn't even know if they'd be unlocked. I'd never been there, never had a reason to. The other rooms in the ground floor all have windows, so they weren't a good option either. The only thing I could think of was to sneak to the terrace. If chased, I surround the house until the policemen arrived. But I had yet to make the call, and I wasn't going to do it before I could make escape route. I looked for the key in my pocket and slowly unlocked the door. My hands were shaking, but I was completely focused. I swung the door open, and when I did it, I heard a bang on my room. Frightened, I ran outside as fast as I could, ducking before the kitchen window. I don't remember what time it was, just it was already dark outside. Only the door lights over the door lit the green ground. I took my phone and dialed the emergency number. The signal was bad sometimes, so it could take a while to reach out. I was just hoping that I didn't need to use the landline from the lounge. As the phone tried to connect, I heard the door squeaking and suddenly stopping, as if someone would have tried to stop the noise. I could easily recognize it was my bedroom's door swung open. My blood ran cold. The call was taking too long, or perhaps everything was happening too quickly. Either way, I started to think that it was the end for me. I looked for something to defend myself. All I got was a rusty shovel which I held on to firmly and, realizing I could die anyway, decided I'd try to scare the intruder away. I couldn't have run up to the next house. That was a terrible idea. The closer neighbor was half a kilometer away and I was a shitty runner. Taking long, deep breaths, I could gather some strength to put the phone on the ground and open the door at once. The door swung open, making a slight squeaking sound. "Somebody there?" I said, shaking. There was no reply. I felt such a relief when I couldn't see anybody. Next moment I heard a strange growl behind me, and before I could think of looking back, I was worked against the doorframe. This last being pretty much the theory the policeman came up with, seeing the glass door scattered on the kitchen floor and the bruises on my head. Now, I don't remember the whack, but the policeman found me lying unconscious on the floor when they arrived. I had a mild concussion, blood running down my cheeks and some bruises. My mobile phone was broken and the landline telephone was in the hallway floor. They scanned the house, but found nothing was missing. Only all of the food was gone. Just the meat though. They couldn't find any fingerprints and the footprints were, to say the least, strange as hell. They were made by huge bare feet. The official report stated the trespasser was a homeless man looking for food and that was it. No further investigation, but I did see some policemen driving by at night for the next few days. The theory we've chosen to believe doesn't explain though why the culprit took only the meat, nor how could he whack me against the door case with such strength so as to leave me unconscious. I think constantly about it ever since, hoping I don't get to meet him. I don't even remember using the landline from the lounge.